Is the didgeridoo really a healing instrument? The short answer is yes. A long answer is no, it is not. Even longer answer is it can be under right circumstances. But I think we need a little bit more words to unfold that idea. First of all, I would like you to notice that even discussing the healing aspect of didgeridoo is something relatively special, to that extent for a musical instrument. Of course, every instrument can be healing in a way, as anything can be healing in a way. But I would like not to be too general and address the real issue, why we even discuss the healing aspect of a didgeridoo. I would also like to approach this subject from a Westerner point of view. Okay, so not from someone who inherits 1,000 years of traditions. So for Aboriginal story, this is something I'm not taking into account at the moment. I'm talking to people who have found their way to didgeridoo like I did, but have no background whatsoever in terms of the culture of their nation. Now, why do we talk about healing aspects of didgeridoo? It is the instrument which involves so much breathing, probably the most of all instruments, and that breath is very directly transformed to sound, which is not just any kind of sound. It's this deep, primordial vibration that you recognize as something. You cannot even name it properly, but you feel it and you resonate with it, and maybe you say just, oh. So have I seen shifts in other people playing didgeridoo? Yes, I have. But this is not a card that I would play, because I believe it takes a certain kind of grace for that to happen. And I believe you enhance the chance of grace by connecting to the instrument, making connection alive. And how do you do that? So every time you play, which can be practice or perform, if you are in the right state of mind and heart, it's like being on a pilgrimage. And the pilgrimage goes to the inner temple. And every time you visit that temple, the temple grows, it expands. And every time you miss a visit, the temple shrinks a little bit. And the more you live in that temple, I feel the more you can be granted the grace. The more you can be granted healing, if you will. And that healing is first and foremost your own personal healing. It may be just a change of state. Because whenever I go out of my practicing room, out of my studio, I feel better than when I got in. And I think this is true for everyone who does their practice in the right way. And what does it mean to practice in the right way? I would say the basic thing is to have open heart and open mind for anything to happen. And that does not include expectations of what should happen. If you have expectations of what should happen, then you're on a very, very thin ice, because often that makes you stiff and those wishes, they don't come true. And the more you are in a state of saying thank you for everything that will become, the higher your chances are of something to happen. So I would say that if you're looking for something grand, your most humble way is the way in. And if you don't know how to start the pilgrimage even, if you don't know where to take the first step or the next step, I recommend you find your exercises, your practices, And you may say, but I want to express my soul. I want to express my feelings. I want to be an artist. I want to be original. And I understand that. And that is not an opposite idea to practicing your practices. To practice your exercises is like having incantations, prayers, chants, mantras that you can repeat for 1,000 times. And every time they have meaning. Every time they bring you deeper into the temple. And the temple expands. As you come in, the temple expands. And in this way, I would say that Didgeridoo is primarily a healing instrument for the players. And if you manage to establish balance in your body such that your breath is not lacking or is not too much, that your lips are not giving in when you play your sounds, that your tongue knows your movements. In other words, you know the language, you learn the language of the wind. You go to your inner temple like a wind monk or wind nun, and you are nurtured straight from the source. You connect to the pulse, you catch that wave, and it takes you somewhere. Whether that takes someone else somewhere, when you perform, when you play for someone, is not entirely up to you. This is what I feel. That person has to be ready. And you making yourself ready is way more than sticking a colored stone for the 11th chakra on the bell of your didge and telling a beautiful story. I feel that pilgrimage is the thing that opens you up, and it, in a way, pushes you back to your natural state. It changes you in such a way that it doesn't first lift you up. First, it pushes you back, and you may feel that as repulsion, like, why am I receiving this friction? I want to play the didge, but it's so hard, it's so damn hard. And you need to align yourself internally to grant the access further. So first you drop back into your natural state of breathing, your nervous system changes, your muscles can relax, but also contract in a better way. Your vision and imagination of the worlds that you have never seen becomes more vivid, and you start traveling. And I have seen this happen over and over, especially to the people that I've trained. At first, there's this uncomfortable friction, but as the friction goes away, you find your balance and you're able to surf on the inner wave. Straight into that temple. And from that place, I feel healing of yourself will happen every time. Every time. And if the person you're playing to is in the right place, the grace may come, and that person may be healed as well in some way. Maybe in a great way, maybe in a small way, but in some way, it is not up to you to choose. And rather than believing my words, why don't you try it out yourself in such a way that you find your chants and mantras, your exercises, and I offer many on my channel. You can dig and swim inside and choose something that is right for you, something that you can almost do or that you can even do. And every time you start your practice, start with something simple that you can do, just to open the gates, open the portal. Open your heart, open your mind. Repeat the exercise with full attention. Breathe. and go as deep as you can with the simple sounds. Don't expect something to happen right away. Forget about something happening. Just go into that next step. Fully involve yourself into that next sound that you're just about to make. And see where that takes you. Do not take attention off the next step. And once you forget about your name, you forget about your past, about what you need to do, look up and see the wonder of this cosmic temple that you are in. And tell me, is it healing or not?